せ夢を見て心ゆくまで One, two, step で境界越えちゃって誰も知らない未来解像度上げて描くよたまんないね際限ないキャンバス刻む物語を集めてて繋いでて心ゆくまで
Come back, my darling one. I'm calling on ya. The road ahead is long, and I must warn ya. I wondered, where did she go? If I failed you, I tell you right now, all I want you to know, I love you. All I need is the time to show you. Come back, my fallen son. Don't let 'em fool ya. 'Cause when the day is done, they never move ya. Lay down your sense of pride. Come on, put out your mournful tones. I tell you right now, all I want you to know, I love you. All I need is the time to show you how I Lay down your sense of pride, trampled ones too often. I tell you right now, all I want you to know, I love you. All I need is the time to show you. Oh yeah, you know I love you. All I need is the
like a fire can't do stop. Average K got too big, I'm toast lit at the internet with bitter cinnamon and with the goalpost. Goose goose ascension, and mine is Shikoda. Nobody's coming, so I'm crying that Rover. Not every line hits, moments of I miss. Being nobody, cause nobody owns kindness. Just let myself suck off, me none of my that. Look back to being under the what fine. In the grand scheme, man, dreams never need an age show. I can say that I have your kata. 嫌いなんて序の口そのと楽だしスイートワンデイが見合って君のその口シガレットから口はリピだけど最多なコブだし最高のコブだしスローテンだけじゃつまらし最大とコラボししょっぱいに靴をぶしも捕まえたいけど出だしの荒削り衝動ここにある学んでるようで学んでないプレイしてる期限切れ like loneliness 受け入れるよ素顔を君に送りたいけど飽きられてしまうから勝手にする闇エネルギーはいつも助かってるんだよ嫌いなんて序の口そのと楽だしスイートワンデイが見合って君のその口シガレットから口はリピだけどいつだって研修生価値が昭和製品飲みこなす必要ないし君と許可だし噛めば大人だしもっと甘えたいけど 冬が終わって湖溶けて春が来たらバカも活動しだす買いそびれてた喧嘩の花も桜みたい乱れ咲いて弾けるより会えば文殊の知恵が出る浅い夢を本物にしようさあここから始めよう楽しい戦争をひとまず最後投げ捨てたらあとはやるだけ1と1と1とを出したら人間社会も今日を振り落としれられる
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Hippo Cup 9 group stage. Here we are with our third match of the morning or evening, depending on where you may be. We are in our Group E, or Group H with this one, with peepoHappy versus peepoHappy. peepoHappy currently 0-2 in their group, looking for a bit of a miracle, and peepoHappy playing all three of their matches today. My name is Heppa. Joining me on the comms is Torva. How are you feeling about the matchup?
I'm feeling quite good. I'm excited to see this match get played out. I mean, you got both these teams, even with one of the teams being, you know, a bit on the minus win rate right now, are kind of still stacked on both ends. I mean, like, both teams have got such a strong roster, and I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. I am more surprised to hear about one of the teams being, you know, in the negative win rate, but I mean, at the end of the day, some teams gotta be, right? So it's intriguing to see how this match does end up being played out.
Yeah, these are some curious rosters, and this is a very curious group. Of course, this group last year was a somewhat similar boat, with the Group H being Catball and Peak Peak. Catball did not make it out of group stage despite it basically being the USA OWC team. Like, you have a lot of familiar faces in this team with Pez, with Ethan Tricks, with Twilight, and some of the faces of the old guard 4WC team as well, hopping in for this one. So they didn't make it out of group stage last year, which was a massive, massive shocker. And we'll have to see if Pick can spoil those plans, seeing as they have all three of their matches today and are largely undecided in this group. Pick being the all-Polish team featuring Michny, Eka, Honey Dip. So pretty solid roster there for some of the more gimmickier skill sets that Hippo Cup is known for. I'm curious to see how they do today.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued with it. It seems that the pick and ban order is going to be getting sorted, I believe. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see these teams. I mean, on the side of peepoHappy, I mean, you have players like, Prad, Terranfis, Turnifis, sorry, I got that name wrong again. My apologies. Daniel Lino, Nuni, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name, Ikagatsumaru, Darnix, Questionaut, Hinamon, and 20. I mean, stacked players there, especially someone like Questionaut, who, I mean, I've seen quite a few times on either just global leaderboards or seeing play tournaments, and it's just been so stacked as a team, I thought. But then you also look at the other side, with Pick, and they've just got, well, I remember, an entire, Polish demon roster.
Yeah, so, I mean, peepoHappy, they do have a pretty strong team. It's filled with a number of those 4-digit D-ranker names you know and love, but they just got really unfortunate with the group this time out. They got paired with the number 1 seeded team, period. A team with average of 374, I believe. Yeah, 394 average rank on that team for the number 1 seed. Just a gnarly situation there. And then you have Catball, which, as I mentioned, is just like a USA 4WC Hall of Fame kind of team. And then Pick, which features, again, some of the rosters from that Polish WC roster, as well as some older names like Michny and Bartek being a part of this team. Really scary stuff if you are peepoHappy trying to survive in this group, unfortunately. But this will be the final match for them, and they're looking to find a little bit of a stroke of luck here. Their only chance to make it out, really, is if they were to sweep this one, and the other 3 teams in the group have to go 1 and 2 with getting swept in their own right. So they have to win on point differential as well. So again, it'll take a miracle, but likely just playing for fun in this one.
Yeah, but then every now and then, sometimes a miracle can just happen even at the least expected time. So you can still play with all your heart and, hope that you can just go in for it. But yeah, sweeping this match is going to be one hell of a battle. It's going to be an uphill battle, to say the least, because, again, such stacked teams. It's close. I would argue it's closer to get to tiebreaker than it is to be a sweep. And that is, just showing the caliber between these teams. And we're seeing the first bans come out with the peepoHappy banning No Mod 6 and Pick banning the Free Mod 3. Oh, what? Free Mod 3 and No Mod 6. 2 of the best maps in the pool. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, no storyboard, no mechanics. If you're peepoHappy, you're a pretty solid mechanics team already, and we saw how FCable that map was in the previous match, so pretty comfortable there. Just getting rid of the comfortable skill sets is going to be the main game plan of this Pick team, who really thrive in those more gimmickier skill sets. Of course, players like Michny, like Elementaire, like Honey Dip, and Eka, they are all very strong alt and aim players, so I expect to see maps like DT6, like No Mod 3, maybe No Mod 4, in the wing for them in their picking strategy.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at both teams, I understand that peepoHappy getting rid of the No Mod 6. I mean, running, a more storyboard focused map against, a player like Bartek, I believe, is just, it's one risky endeavor to say the least because of his capabilities on a bit more of those abnormal maps, especially when they are more storyboard focused. But then the second band's coming out, the DT5 is going to be getting rid of, and the Hard Rock 3.
And I know how you feel now. That's that's my favorite map in this pool by a very wide margin. Seeing HR3 go away, this is so sad.
It hurts my soul.
But DT5 is gone. That is the 2009 old map. Only 256 combo for FC, but peepoHappy is a team that are really strong on those older maps. Lots of the players on this team, with the exception of those newer faces like Eka and Honeytip, made their accounts in 2014, so all too familiar with the older stuff and would be solid acking those kinds of beat maps. But peepoHappy with the first pick, and just based off of those bans, I'm looking for one of the free mod maps to come out here. I would not be entirely surprised with a DT2, given both HR3 and free mod 3 going away.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see the pick they go into because, you know, a lot of the too focused mechanics maps they would initially go into have been gone rid of, but there's still definitely enough on the board for them to pick into, and I'm just intrigued to see what it is they actually do go with.
Yeah, got a number of players from that roster in the lobby now. Ikikatsumaru, Darnix, and Danielino hanging about, waiting to see what the assignment is. If I'm them, I'm looking at DT2, I'm looking at maybe even DT4 for a little added volatility.
Oh, picking to the No Mod 5. Going into Fly, I mean, banger song, but definitely not a pick I was expecting, but I believe this is now 2 matches in a row where this is the first map pick of the match.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look at their previous MPs out of curiosity, because I don't know about this one, admittedly. It looks like it was not picked in previous matches, so this is a new strategy for them, hopping into this one. I'm curious to see how it plans out, going into our AR8 kind of Kirby Mix alt-ish style map in the No Mod 5 slot.
Yeah, definitely an interesting strategy to say the least, and it's not what I was necessarily expecting, but I can also see the, the allure this map brings for a first map pick. You get to, warm up on a bit more of those more unique skill sets in a sense of, having actually play a map in match that may not be initially the most comfortable, but still definitely a more playable map. But yeah, playing it against peepoHappy, well, I feel like a lot of these players are going to be really, really comfortable on this map. It definitely feels like the pick would be the other way around. I feel like this would have been peepoHappy's first pick. I've said pick way too many times in a short time, my brain's confused. Oh no.
Okay, so look, they did end up playing this in their first match against Catball being the USA team, and they did not have a bad showing at all. It was 2 near FCs, 1 No Mod FC from Darnix, and then Kuster not missing towards the middle of the map, which kind of was the reason for the loss, getting that single miss in a very unfortunate spot. But in paper, their team score is actually really solid here, if not for this ending slider breaks, and they are running a slightly different roster this time around. No Darnix, no Turnifist. Those were the top scores on this last time they played the map, so I am curious to see how they run it up with this different roster.
Yeah, making a roster change does feel a bit weird, but maybe because players either not being able to show up, or just maybe because since their last match, those scores on average have been changed and the players have improved on them. So, it could be any variety of reasons, but yeah, trust in the process and see what happens as we go into Fly by Epic High. And yeah, I'm very intrigued to see the overall performance from all 8 of these players, because again, as I mentioned, I do see peepoHappy getting some strong scores on this, but we've also seen peepoHappy getting strong scores on this, and it's going to be interesting. We're going to be seeing Questionable and Daniel running the hidden inside peepoHappy, and Alimenta with Bartek running the hiddens on the peepoHappy.
Yeah, I'm actually super shocked with the roster on peepoHappy side. No Honey Dip on this one. Of course, Honey Dip was the main reading player this year for the Poland WBC team, so not being in for the only forced air 8 map in the pool, a little bit interesting. But Houston with the first drop and our first Ki that first rounded out Quint there to take them out, and Danielino with a little bit of an aim miss as well, and that's why I was a little curious about this roster change. Last time out on the hidden, it was Q-Stronaut and Turnifus who FC'd the map just about, but luckily those two misses are traded. It's Danielino still with a couple drops, but the placement of those misses and the recovery combo of Q-Stronaut is going to be helping peepoHappy a little bit with a slight combo advantage.
Yeah, 100%, especially with, being able to build a lot more combo now with, how much later the misses coming in from Bartek and Alimenta, especially being both hidden players, but both hidden players and peepoHappy also have missed as well, which does get rid of the advantage they would possibly without having a chance to build. And we're getting to the halfway point of the map now where especially those misses coming from Questionable are going to be a little bit more punishing. And 20 also does go down, and that is all the players of peepoHappy all down, which is not exactly the greatest showing you can open up with. It's, as you're saying, yeah, the roster change maybe not the best idea possible, and if you don't have the roster that you were able to put a good score on this, maybe making this the first pick is a bit of a different gamble to go into, and unfortunately it is just not showing up for them, with Daniel and Questionable really seeming to be struggling on this hidden for them.
Yeah, to put in perspective, their score right now is equivalent to like 1 FC on the map. So a bit unfortunate with the placement of all those breaks. All players sub 3 million score v1 here on peepoHappy. And if you look on the other side, the double FC by Kosiarek and the artist formerly known as Splitty, actually. I just had to look at that name change. That is Splitty in the top right. So actually a very strong reading roster when they do have all their players with Kosiarek, Splitty, and Honey Dip. So Bartek Alimenta on these comeback hidden combos as well. Really solid first breakpoint for peepoHappy. And unfortunately for peepoHappy, still lots of work to do.
Yeah, they are opening this match into a really bad position, and yeah, that hope for a sweep is now already long gone, which is going to be a bit unfortunate for them, but it is what it is. And still a fantastic score coming in from Sarune with, the 99.6% full combo, which is just always nice to see. And Kosiarek, I mean, I'm going to count as a full combo because I'm pretty sure all 4 of their misses came in at the ending just with excessive cursor dancing, so it might as well be counted as a full combo at that point.
Yeah, Twenity and Pra on the other side, just a 1 slider break and 1 miss right around that 380 to 400 combo section. Really unfortunate there with the placement of those misses. Would have been pretty close if they did not get those single drops, but unfortunately not to be. And peepoHappy looking to consolidate on that break point. The world is their oyster for the most part. If I'm them, I'm looking at that Noma 3 personally. Going into some of that flow alt, I am aware that Alimenta and Kosiarek both incredibly strong at that skill set when given their preferred mods, so wouldn't be too surprised to see that coming out.
Yeah, and also, the normal three is always a good bit of fun to watch, especially with how easy it can be to, set an insanely good score on it, but also how easy it is to find unfortunate misses to randomly scat about. So, I'm hoping shit, but instead of actually going into No Mon 1, a map I've not seen in a short while, but going into Relive by Nonoff.
I somewhat see the vision here. I mean, it's the highest SR map in this pool. If you're the higher seeded team on paper, if you're the favorite in a match, you want to pick the hardest stuff, regardless of skill set. This is a match I'll be honest, I didn't even practice. I'm playing in this tournament, I didn't touch this map. It's just Fiery Ridge TV size. I feel like you're better off sight reading this, low-key. But we'll see how peepoHappy does here. We're going into a different roster. Bartek hopping in the lobby alongside Bobyak, and I believe roster changes as well for peepoHappy. Darnix is here, so actually I'm a little confused why Darnix didn't play that last map, but going into the aim now with Relive. Incredibly high spacing jumps here at that mid-range BPM. Curious to see how the players fare on the highest SR map in this pool.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if anyone's going by your approach to this map and going for the sight read, because sight read buff is real. Like, it's indefensible that it's a real thing. So I'm intrigued to see if anyone does also follow up on that approach. I know for a fact that I should as well, because it's just one of those things that's always very useful to use. But it's also a bit of gamble idea to go with. So 50-50, but I'm intrigued to see how this goes. This map, from what I know, isn't uniquely complex. So again, you haven't got to really worry about something absolutely outrageous catching you off guard. It's just going to be that consistent aim that most players will have, and they've already practiced time and time again, especially with all this roster.
Yeah, still sticking to the core 2 on the hidden for peepoHappy, Bartek, Elementaire. Hidden preference players. Bartek, formerly not so. He's always been strong on hidden, but in recent years he's been more a preference player with regards to the mod. Bobyak and Kosierek, just incredibly strong aim players. Kosierek, you've seen them in OWC and 4WC in previous years, where they've had standout performances, mostly on the aim and alt stuff, so I'm not super surprised to see this up here. Waiting for all the ready-ups in the lobby, and Darnix and Pra hopping back in as well. So, aim rosters on both sides are coming through. I believe Darnix highest ranked player on peepoHappy, so hoping for those mechanics to shine.
Yeah, giving themselves an opportunity to fight back, to try and get that break point back if possible. Just giving themselves the best opportunities possible. Recover the unfortunate first miss pick. And this map, definitely an opportunity for it to happen, but again, it's going to be relying on that consistency and relying on just overall comfort on this kind of map. And I think that's the most focused point of it, where a lot of these players will be relatively comfortable. We have Sumaru and Daniel running the hidden to the side of peepoHappy, and Bartek and Elementaire once again running the hidden take pick, which is not too surprising seeing. But you see from the get-go the wider spacing on these jumps, and Bobyak and Darnix are the first two players to go down, trading each other out on, I believe, the same note on those jumps.
Yeah, just about the same note and same accuracies as well. So a very even board thus far, but it's the accuracy telling a bit of the story here. The triple 97s on the side of peepoHappy, and now in second break to come through. Ikagatsumaru dropping that second combo to 2 FCs to 3, but with this gnome on 1, it's so volatile it can change at the drop of a hat. Recovery combo down for Darnix, only to be helping out peepoHappy with a very strong first pick. And I mean, higher SR is the way to go, seemingly. This is a map that's been relatively untouched throughout the weekend, and now we're seeing why. I mean, peepoHappy making a show of it as we head into our final GI.
Yeah, I mean, they are just shredding on this map with the raw aim without a problem. Bartek, unfortunately, does go down on the horizontal jumps, but isn't going to be causing any damage whatsoever to their overall score on their team, as they are in a very comfortable lead. And I've been avoiding mentioning this player in this run because I've been hoping they continue the run through, and they do, with Elementaire going into the SS on that map, which is a disgusting score to say the least.
Yeah, very comfy, cozy on that SS for the Elementaire. On the hidden as well. Gonna be a pretty solid showing there. As mentioned in the chat, is Grandpa SS Elementaire. This 97-year-old diner still does their coke the old-fashioned way, and still getting SSs on TV-size maps in the big, beautiful 2026. Is gonna be going back to peepoHappy's picks trying to get their first one on the board here. They've only got 1 point in this tournament, and it wasn't that cat ball match, so hoping to not get a second sweep on the table, but Pick making it a hard one to get into.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to make it a uphill battle. I mean, sorry, let me rephrase that. Pick are definitely going to make it an uphill battle for them and definitely make it a bit of a challenge for it. But, you know, it is, people have a chance to try and answer back for that, from that no mod one. You know, they did lose their first point, unfortunately, but they do have a chance now to maybe completely change direction with their picks and just go into something they are either a bit more comfortable on, or they can just gamble on with the scores. And it seems they're going to go into that no mod 2, going into the accelerating decel streamer. Lower BPM, so it's a bit comfortable at 175. And it's not even on the longer end either. It's about 1 minute 45, which, now that I think about it, for this map pool is on the longer end, which is really weird to say out loud, but you know what? It is what it is. And yeah, this map overall isn't too uncomfortable. The hiddens maybe more so because of it being approach rate 9. So adding that with the awkward flowing as it is, it's a bit of an awkward map to get right with hidden. But again, with the hidden players you can see on both sides, they should be more than comfortable enough to play this map.
Yeah, and for peepoHappy, it's mostly about their hidden preference players being a bit more mechanically inclined. Of course, looking at Q-Stronaut as the main hidden specialist on that peepoHappy team. Very strong on the hidden, very strong on the mechanics generally. Just about as close as you're going to get to that with that Hard Rock 3 being banned. And the DP2 being a little bit older styling is kind of playing into Pick's ballpark. So just going into this one, going into the awkward flow aim patterns, certainly not opposed to it with players in the lobby.
Yeah, definitely not very close to it in the slightest, and I'm interested to see what the overall losses will be. And inside of Pick, I believe we're seeing Bartek being removed and swapped out, which is, you know, not necessarily surprising, but not, you know, something I also initially was going to be like, yeah, that should be happening, because, you know, Bartek on the DPM, I feel like it can definitely be playable, but if you have a better option, I think it is always going to be better to go with that set option. And for both teams, it seems to be seeing Eka, Bobak, who is also going to be running the hidden, Kosarik, and Elementra, who is again also running the hidden. On the side of peepoHappy, we have Sumaru, Darnix again, Pra, and Questionable. Questionable, of course, being the one to run hidden, and same as Pra.
Yeah, Eka, I've been hearing rumblings about this player as one of the Polish prodigies on the come-up, as Honey Dip was just about last year. They've ranked up from 1.3k to now 887 in the past month. So on the come up both with ranks and with number ones. He got number one on one of my favorite alt-loved maps in Spiral, so we'll see how they perform on the Hippo Cup stage. First time seeing them in tournament, but as for now, all players holding on to our early streams. Intro, I've heard has been mind-blockable on this map as you wind through these different XL streams and kick sliders. It's a firm accuracy advantage on the side of Pick. Still no breaks as we head into these sections, but the flow is just going to get more volatile as you go through. Big act drop for Pra, nearly under-aiming that stream, but still staying alive with the combo. And as you know, with the score v1, combo's going to be king as we head into our second half.
Yeah, I mean, this map could be so easy to find those random, unfortunate breaks, especially on the sliders for some reason out of all of the patterns in this map. But you know what? It doesn't seem to be a major problem for any of these players just yet. Two SSs are still being held onto the side of Pick. Okay, as I say, I'm sorry, Babak, I didn't mean to curse you like that. But still have got the two SSs on the side of peepoHappy, which is going to actually help a decent margin if they can hold on to it. But Darnix, unfortunately, does go down. I believe Slider breaking at the end of one of the streams, and Questionable also going down, which is going to be unfortunate. Babak does find the chain misses, but it's not going to be enough to change that 3 million score lead in such a short time. Elementra goes down, but so does Pra, so it is going to be two full combos versus one, and in such a short time, it is not going to be causing any difference in that score, and it's going to be a third point on the board for Pick, with a phenomenal score showing. There's 100 coming in from Echo, which is just diabolical, to say the least. But same with Darnix, but unfortunately, the 100, I believe, coming in as a slider break.
Yeah, that's so tragic for Darnix, but seems I was right to hype up Echo with that 1x100 FC. going to be the main reason for Pick holding their ground and getting that point on the board. Ikigazumaro with the FC on peepoHappy, but unfortunately not to be enough, just didn't have the backup required. All those breaks happening in that final quarter of the map. So down to the wire, but Pick still holding out strong. Polish power, or so they say, as they try to get match point with their next pick now. Momentum firmly on their side.
Yeah, momentum just swinging so far in favor of Pick, and with it being their pick now as well, I don't really know what peepoHappy can really do to play up against it. I mean, they do get a pick after this map. That is a guaranteed thing they get, but really the options on the table, it's not looking too great for them, unfortunately. But again, only time will tell if things start to flip around. Maybe possible chance for a reverse sweep if peepoHappy lock in and, you know, just figure out some crazy strategy to go ham with. But, you know, strategy is only half the battle when it comes to these matches, because you do also have to put out that performance in maps. And it hasn't been looking so swell right now for the side of peepoHappy. But again, as I keep mentioning, time will only tell. And it's going to be interesting to see what the next pick will be, because again, there's still a load of those more unique maps on the table. I mean, 3-1's available, and that's going to be scary to say the least. But then, you know, there's still so many variety of maps, and I'm intrigued to what it says. What it will do, sorry. I mean, as you mentioned, I believe that the No Mod 3 being on the table, which would still be very strong for the side of Pick, and that's a scary pick to see them go into if that is the option they want to go with.
Yeah, it'd also be funny because they'd just be running down the Nomad list with No Mod 1, No Mod 2, and then No Mod 3.
Yeah, there it is.
there it is. I put a pause so that way I could give them time to pick it, and it seems to be No Mod 3, Night Theater Etude. This is going to be our awkward flow alt map. It kind of winds and waves with these wiggle patterns and stop and go stack doubles. So going to be a little bit of a finger control test as well as flow control. We've been seeing a lot of volatility with the hidden players playing this map throughout our weekends. We're seeing plenty of chain misses, so it demands full attention. Only player in the lobby right now for Pick is Eka, so potentially even a full roster swap out.
Yeah, possible swap out there. I mean, I'm interested to see who they'll bring in for. I mean, Professor Eka obviously expected to be in fantastic at this kind of skill set, and it's going to be the other two I'm intrigued on. I mean, Eka already having proved themselves on the last map, and Elementary has just been performing incredibly well on every single map so far with him. So again, also another player I expect staying in. But it's the fourth player I'm intrigued to see who they do actually choose to, you know, bring into this No Mod 3 to bring them to the match point ability. But then you started peepoHappy, they've still got Sumeru, they've still got Dynasty, they've still got Pride, they've still got Daniel. So overall, no major changes since the second map, I believe. But I'm intrigued with that last player on Pick. I think they're hoping to try and close in with a sweep if possible. But it seems like we're going to be seeing 20 being brought in instead, and Bartek being the fourth player to join Pick.
Yeah, seems like Pick running a core roster of 5 throughout this match, just swapping out Eka when they need to for those different skill sets for Bobby on some of the more aim-focused maps. But peepoHappy bringing 20 into the fold as we head into one of the more volatile picks in this pool. A little bit less mechanics here, so no Q-Stronaut in for this one. We'll have to see how it goes. Pra likely to be taking the hidden alongside 20, and peepoHappy back against the wall trying to get their first point. Well, can they do it with a breakpoint on No Mod 3?
Yeah, that will be the interesting question, hopefully to be answered. It's going to be Elementary and Bartek, of course, running the hiddens for Pick as expected, and Sumeru and 20 to be running the hiddens instead of peepoHappy. Also, kind of expected. I mean, I believe we've already seen these players running hidden, so nothing too surprising as the map does get into this intro. And you can already kind of see the flow patterns getting brought in and the alternating patterns, which can be very easily catching you out if you're not careful, especially the doubles in the flowing pattern where it is stop, go. And Sumeru actually, unfortunately, does find a miss on the wiggle alternate pattern, which is going to be unfortunate because it's an early miss, so it shouldn't cause too many problems. It should have decided to Pick to find their misses and everyone else full combos. But again, asking for that is one thing in itself, but forming it is another problem. And 3 misses go down for peepoHappy with Sumeru, Pra, and 20 all finding unfortunate breaks in the map.
Yeah, this is all but a foregone conclusion, right? This is peepoHappy is a very mechanics forward team. This is as volatile and opposite to that as you're going to get. All four FCs being held on by Pick now. All players above that 99% accuracy. This is a blowout of insane magnitudes at the current moment. As some more drops come through for peepoHappy, my eyes are glued firmly to the left side of that screen. Unfortunately, Eka to drop the 4-way, but not going to matter when the other 3 are holding on with 99% FCs, and Eka's score still with 99.7 act despite getting 2 misses in that set. It was Bancho. They're still holding on to the 4-way. It was Unirail miss. It's not even close. I would not be too surprised if this were the top score for the weekend on this map, given how volatile it is. Just a few more patterns remaining. All players still above that 99 margin. Lowest is 99.1. Final snap, doubles of the map, and a triple to boot. What a scoreline for Pick on their
What do you
final
mean?
pick.
Your lowest accuracy score is 99.18. Hello? Yeah, to say that's the best team score, like, of the match, of the tournament so far, it would be an understatement, to say the least. I mean, 2 100s coming from Echo, just once again proving himself on the stage, knowing that he is going to be, honestly, a terrifying player on the come up, and just the Polish teams once again proving that they are always just going to be a super team, and a team, just a region that's just going to be scary in all of Osu, I feel, because every single one of them is just always so cracked. And once again, tournament scene just proves it time and time again. And it wasn't even like, it was completely unanswered by. I mean, Darnix did pull out a 98.9% full combo, but that didn't even come close to beating a single player on Pick, which is just almost unfathomable to me.
Yeah, I wanted to go to sleep after this match, low-key, but now I gotta see Pick's journey, because they have all 3 of their matches today. And if they keep up team scores like that, they have a chance to play spoiler for Catball again, just as they did last year. So I'm really curious to see how it pans out. But as for now, it's peepoHappy's final pick, still just trying to get their 1 in. We'll have to see if it comes to fruition. But after being at the hands of a 4-way FC like that, I mean, my motivation would be starched.
Yeah, I mean, the team morale for peepoHappy, if it's in a good morale, I'm going to be impressed, because if I saw that as a player, I wouldn't be, genuinely upset. I'd be impressed with them, but I'd also have that sense of dread of having to be, match point against them and, facing the barrel of a sweep, which is just terrifying to look at as it is. But then, again, you compare it to that team score as well, and you look at it, it's like, genuinely, what are you supposed to do? Because you pick something your team is comfortable on, they pull off disgusting scores. They pick something they're comfortable on, they pull out disgusting scores. You pick something they're not comfortable on, guess what? They bring out disgusting scores. What are you even supposed to do?
They're just running down the line.
Yeah, they run down the line, and it's No Mod 4 they want to go with, just wiping out the entire No Mod roster. Going from No Mod 5 to No Mod 1 to No Mod 2 to No Mod 3, now No Mod 4. Unfortunately, we can't get the full roster as No Mod 6 was unfortunately banned, but you know what? I think this will do.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm unsure with the strategy at this pick. At this point, if I'm peepoHappy, I'm just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. This is a different skill set to everything played. There hasn't been tapping played in this match. I wouldn't really consider Nomad 2 a full tapping focus map comparatively, as it is like the density blow difficulty.
Yeah, like I say, it's more on the focus on the aim rather than tapping. 175 BPM, it's, especially at this level with these players, it's pretty much like a comfort BPM. I think the hardest thing for 175, especially at this level, is just going to be finger control, and these are all tournament players. All of them have finger control to a different level. So 175, it's really not even a drop in the bucket to them when it comes to that stamina reserve or the tapping reserve. So it is going to look like a flow focus map. So yeah, pretty much just avoiding all tapping, like it all means pretty much the entire match so far.
Yeah, and with rosters changing and shifting. It's Danielino hopping back into the lobby alongside this core roster for peepoHappy. Katsumaru, Darnix, Bra still hanging about. Katsumaru actually switching. I'm curious to see for whom that will be. But I mean, you're looking at the most consistent players on pick opposite to them, Eka, Elementary, and Kosiarik. That trio is so scary on this group stage, just so consistent on whatever they may be. But just waiting the final players for each side. It's Bartek, it's Gatsumaro, so remaining the core players for each of their rosters. We'll have to see if Danielino subbing in will do the trick for this one, but maybe the final map inbound as we go into Angelfish, the No Mod 4, the Tech Swing Hybrid B map.
Yeah, I mean, peepoHappy staring it down the barrel, as I mentioned once before, staring down the barrel of a potential sweep, which is never a very comfortable position to be in. Oh, of course, once again, as mentioned, Bartek and Elementary being the national hidden players for their team at this point, which, again, not too surprising. It's not even like a comfort mod for them at this point. It's like a lifestyle with how strong they are on the hiddens. And then you have Daniel and Sumero also running the hiddens side of peepoHappy, which, again, I think we've seen before as well. So nothing too out of the ordinary for these teams, but it is going to be the performance you're going to be keeping an eye out for on both sides. But so especially peepoHappy, they have to pull off a miracle scoreline here if they want the chance to, continue fighting and maybe explore some other mod combinations rather than just living in the no mods.
Yeah. And with rosters inbound, getting into the bulk of it here, you're seeing the slider velocity and difficulty throughout this map, putting kick sliders. Going to be a first buzz slider break for Gatsumaro on that hidden, but plenty of map to go. I believe the FC combo for this one hovers around 17 or 1600, so pretty solid stuff in our first Ki. It is some pretty major act drops on the side of peepoHappy with those 97s, but as advertised, the No-Mod players on pick putting in work here. 99 for Eka, 99.3 for Kosiarik. Players to look out for pending those breaks, and unfortunately for peepoHappy, that's not the one they want to see.
Yeah, I mean, if peepoHappy here, you have to pray on the side of pick to having all four of them break, but the likelihood of it is just not looking so possible. I mean, their lowest accuracy player being Eka with still pretty much 99 is just an unfortunate feat to have to fight against, and no one to really match it on the side of peepoHappy other than maybe Darnix, who's at 98.7 and the closest potential fighter there. But, it is still the highest accuracy player on their side holding on to combo, which does give hope in this halfway point if, the side of pick do now start to find breaks. But, again, the confidence they're just showing, the consistency they've been pulling off, I mean, it's such a feat to have to ask for, but it's unfortunate as Daniel now also does go down. Subaru does have a strong recovery combo, and Daniel's still holding on to the full combo, but again, in the face of a four-way full combo, it's just such a different story to have to fight against.
Yeah, and with a 10 million score lead now just about for pick, this one more than likely just to be done and dusted unless we see a four-way disaster in our final third. But Eka, Elementar, Kosiarik, Bartek, all floating above the 99% once again on this map. Nomad 3 is a little more understandable. At least it was one rhythm the whole time. But this one, you have to catch slider ends. You have to catch the swing doubles constantly. And all players barely floating above that 99% mark with regards to Elementar and Bartek at that 99.4. The old men of the team still twinning their accuracies. And with that break from Gatsumaro, I mean, it'll take some massive breaks to come through to really shift that lead. It's Kosiarik to find the first one, Eka with a slider break, but Darnix running a solo ship, unfortunately, is not going to be enough at this point with the 20 million difference. Pick confirming their sweep victory, and what a way to start the day for them. They still got 2 more matches to go in the coming 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, they've just shown off the potential they can bring to the table for the matches so far, and it's going to be the next few matches where they play that's going to be very intriguing to see as, they do again have all their matches today, and maybe the consistency does get to keep up. Hopefully burnout doesn't affect them, as they have pulled off an incredible performance in this match, and for their sake, I do hope they can keep it up for the next few hours, because again, they are just playing absolutely phenomenal. The old gen players for the team holding on to the full combos, just showing that, you know what, even if you're on the older end when it comes to these average Osu players, you can still keep up, and they have still got it, and they are still a force to be reckoned with. Genuinely incredible performance from the side of peepoHappy, and I do wish them the best of luck in their future matches.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff from them, and we'll be catching you again in just about 2 hours' time with our next one. It's actually the next peepoHappy match. It's peepoHappy versus Dog Breaking, the #1 seed of the group, the #1 seed of the tournament by rank. So we'll have to see if peepoHappy can keep up their show of dominance in the face of the brick wall that has been Dog Breaking throughout this tournament. But that Group H, as well as every other group, will be decided in our next 6 hours of time as the final match lands at 19 UTC. I've been Hubba, he's been Torva. Thank you, Flapcheck, for the stream, and thank you to Robot for the ref. We'll be catching you in 2 hours for that next match, Dog Breaking versus peepoHappy at 15 UTC.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys there. Bye-bye!